Hello, hello. What is going on here? Having technical difficulties again? Oh my goodness. Load up. Load up my TV. All right, guys, bear with me 1 second here. Oh, wow. Always fun trying to figure this stuff out on the fly. Oh my goodness. Outrageous. Come on, OBS, work with me, buddy. All right, what's going on here then? Now I've got a bunch of them. All right. Yes, get out of here. All right, I believe that we are on the move. Holy. There's something incredibly stressful about these going lives. And then watching this all just go to hell. Holy. All right. So let me just shimmy this up here. Hope everything is going all right. Let me know if you can hear me. That would be fantastic. If my sound is all right, put it in the chat here. Now that everything seems to be going wrong, let's make sure you can hear me. All right. So moving on. Hopefully we're moving on. This yes, So says yes. All right, Big Sosa's in the house. All right, so last full trading day before Christmas. Be careful out there. Volume's already going to be dwindling. We don't got much news going on, not much happening, but we got a couple interesting levels here for Bitcoin. I'm also going to go over the London Open NASDAQ trade that happens more often than not. For those of you interested in growing a small futures account into a big futures account relatively quickly, it is what I would recommend. All right. So, and of course, if anybody's got any questions, just pop them up there. And that is going to do it for now. All right, so on the Bitcoin, everybody's favorite beast. Honestly, we're just looking at Friday's low here. We do have a nice row of single prints there. You can see that more clearly on the half-hour chart. Just that wick. All right. So from this, the bottom of this wick to the bottom of this wick, all right, that's your row of single prints more or less. On exo charts, the values are a little bit different, but it's a zone. It's not an exact area. So that is a definite point of interest there. Maybe we sweep the low, come back up, or it just keeps going. And then we have the killer zone up here, which is golden pocket, selling tail, aka single prints, plus 15-minute order block. We've got our range value area high is it's just below it. It's right around the low end here. So a lot going on there. Definitely a place to keep an eye out. All right. So let's get into the NASDAQ trade. All right. So it's super simple and it works out constantly. And we'll also talk about the gap on the open. That was another quest for nothing question. So we'll address that. Let me just get rid of these indicators. Okay, so the actual setup, you just have to be a little slightly patient. You don't even have to be that much patient because it usually happens pretty quick. But what you need to see is either it's already setting up pre-London, which is like just a few minutes before, generally maybe 6, 7, 10 minutes before, or New York, London will set it up. All right, so here is our London opening range, right? It's the first candle, the first 1 minute candle sets up your London opening range, just so we know where we are in space and time. That's your London open candle. All right, so London opens and pushes down and then starts doing its little open range dance. It wicks below the open range and then starts coming back. And what you have already is a obvious fair value gap here, right? And generally this is exactly how it presents. Sometimes you'll see a little variation where it'll use maybe an order block instead of a fair value gap. And if the golden pocket is not inside the fair value gap, look for the 0.5. All right, so you've got your fair value gap right here. Price pushes away, puts in the low, it starts coming back. You load up your fib and you're looking for that fib level inside of this fair value gap. Hits, does a little shimmy through, starts to come back below, you hop in. Your stop loss is going to have to be above the high there. All right, don't put it above this high because your stop loss will start getting outrageously big. That's the beauty of these trades, is you have a very small stop loss. All right, now don't look for the 100-point banger every time, right? That's not necessarily going to happen. But what you're looking for is at least a quick 10 to 15 points. But more often than not, they will turn into monsters. Last week, 2 of them turned into huge moves. And you can catch these a couple times a week, 3 times a week. Sometimes it's 4 times a week. But it's very, very often you'll see this happen. I talk about these all the time in the Discord group. So if you're looking to get a little bit more into trading and a little less just into crypto, this is a fantastic setup that comes almost every day. So that's it. The other quest for nothing, and we'll get back to Bitcoin after this. Question was the open and what my read was on the open, right? So there's a couple of ways that I look for the open. All right, so I generally am looking for gaps to trade. So unfortunately today, or last night during Asia Open, I didn't take a trade, but I did watch this and thought it was quite interesting nonetheless. But generally what I do is when the gap happens, I'm gonna look directly left to see where the last high was. All right, and unfortunately the last high is actually the close. So that is the trade I really would have wanted. Would have been a gap up and then gaps up and then comes down to test this last high here, which doesn't have to fill the gap fully, but you're looking at around your Friday close slash high of the last candle. All right, so a lot of times what you'll notice is that there's a little high here, right, and it'll hit that. So that's the one that I was really looking for. The other thing that I do is from the gap, I will pull a 0.5, and oftentimes it'll come right into the 0.5, and then you'll get a nice reaction off it, and you can look to get in there. Now, in a scenario like this, where price just goes away, and I'm not going to sit around and wait all night for this because I like sleeping. What you want to do is, well, you don't want to, but just play around with this stuff. I always pull a fib from low to high. There's my golden pocket. And I also am going to pull a 0.5 from the gap to the top of that candle. All right, also a 0.5 in here. So I'm just going to start building up a story as to what could possibly happen here. And then you simply watch for reaction when price comes down towards these zones. All right, so you can use a simple sort of EMA strategy. You can use a couple of different things to get in, right? You could be a psycho and just go right in off the bat as soon as it hits into the golden pocket. I personally wouldn't do that because there's so many possibilities of what can happen here. It could come down to fill this gap. It could be also pulling off some sort of golden pocket just off of the candle itself. All right, so if you just pull a golden pocket off of the candle itself, and you see it pretty much comes into it, breaks it a little bit, but it's pretty sketchy trading here. All right, so I wouldn't take this trade, and that's because there's an order block here and a fair value gap here. So I'd need to see some sort of development into this for me to kind of get excited about trading that, right? So you see price comes up, the gap holds, the fair value gap never gets really taken. It sweeps up a little bit, comes into that order block, comes back in, finally disrespects the order block and this fair value gap. So now that that's happened, I would be looking now here for reasons to get into a trade, right? So again, pulling your fibs. If you enjoy fibs, this for me is a really nice trade right here. Wouldn't work out that well, but it's still quite nice. Not going to lose money on that when you're 7 points up. I wouldn't anyways, but not a great trade. I would be hoping for more. And again, you're coming into this fair value gap that has just disrespected all of this. It's a breakout gap, right? Breaks out of this range here. Price pulls back in, hits that golden pocket, starts to come back up, breaks above the 20 EMA. So pretty good to go on that. And then you get that pullback deeper in before finally it turns around and then starts going, all right? So in this case, it gets a little bit choppy there. Might have squeaked out a quick 5 points here on this trade. And then on the retest of this, and you get this massive bullish candle, wait to see what happens with this fair value gap. All right, just be patient. Always look to the left and just ask yourself what kind of magnet is right beside us. Is there a order block? Is there a fair value gap? What's going on there? A lot of people will see this movement and they just want to get right in there, and it might just go, that's true, but a lot of times it'll come back and it doesn't look like much, but that's a pretty nasty wick there. 4 points. All right, so you can avoid going into a little bit of drawdown there. 4 points is not going to hurt you too much. And if you do get in on a trade like this, it's also very suspect. All right, you've got this fair value gap here. You've got an order block here. All right, so once this candle comes up and sweeps all this out, comes back into this fair value gap, that's where you're feeling pretty good about the situation. All right, we've cleared pretty much everything that we have to clear up here. We do have an order block here, but it's not a good order block. It's not really an order block because it didn't break any structure, right? So by this point, everything has been cleared. All right, it's more of a pivot here that you're looking at. This potential wick might cause a bit of problems, but so carry on. Once you get in here, if you were to get in right there because you don't want to see it fly away from you, you're going to have to put your stop loss below this candle, which is 9 points. I'm not a big fan of a 9-point stop loss on Asia because sometimes Asia can really take its time moving around. So I'd rather have a much smaller stop so that I can put myself up into profit and take profit one, move my stop loss up, and then go to sleep, right? I don't want to sit around managing this. Seems like that Tuesday breaker block worked one more time at the Asia Open. Yeah, and they will a lot of times, right? So the blocks will turn into support resistance zones. So yeah, that's quite common. But the order block purists will say it's been hit, it's no longer an order block, and that's, you know, it's not really true, but that's the way they think about it. And now here we go, we've come in fully closed that gap, hit Friday's close, and then we get a raging candle out of there. Shaved top, beautiful looking stuff. Yeah, and here goes New York coming up in 13 minutes. All right, so unless there's more questions on the NASDAQ, we'll take it back to Bitcoin. You know, right now, it doesn't look great, but it's really not supposed to look great at this time of the year, right? There's not much happening. So in terms of trying to figure out direction right now, it's a bit of a tough one. All right, now the one thing we do have going for ourselves so far is that we have not swept the previous day's low, which would be Friday's low, right? Not counting the weekends. So if we do come down and sweep this low and then come back up, you're going to be looking for a bit of a restricted movement trade today, all right? Meaning that we likely won't come up and visit, likely won't come up and visit Friday's highs. All right, which have already been swept on Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. Yep, on Saturday it got swept, but we haven't come up to either or yet. All right, so that's going to be the real test. Whichever one of these we sweep first, then you can sort of pick a direction, I would say. All right, it's not guaranteed, but if you sweep the high first, then we'll come back down, find support on something, and then go back and make our way up into this zone and see what kind of reaction we get up there. Again, don't trade this just because you see some Yahoo on YouTube saying this is a good zone. You know, watch for reaction, do your own due diligence, and all of that jazz. All right, so remember, this is not financial advice, nor are we financial advisors. Do you recommend not to trade until 25 December? No, I wouldn't trade on 25 December either. What I would say is go on forexfactory.com and check out the bank holidays. Just make sure you understand that everybody's on, you know, holiday mode already. Like, I'm going to finish this and then I am going to pretty much go to a Christmas party. So I did take a trade this morning, which I wasn't really gonna, but then I just saw it present itself, and it's the trade I take almost every day. So I took it and it worked out really well. But I mean, tomorrow you've got a half day. How did you draw fib? So you have golden pocket there. You have a lot of different sort of elements working against you. The golden pocket here, it's just from the high to the low. All right, simple high to low pull. There's your golden pocket. You've got the selling tail from Thursday in there. You've got a half-hour order block right there. You've got a 15. I put the 15-minute ones in as a an homage to SOS. Keep our order block king in the mix here. And that's about it. Yep. Also, we had this yesterday, and we were looking at this in the live stream on the Discord, was this single print trade here that Mr. Nice Guy, aka Zulu Goat, aka Zuluon, aka Andy, posted up, and then we watched it come on in, take that nice bounce. So that was a cute little trade there. Quick 1 point something %. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. It's not going to be overly exciting. Remember Boxing Day too. There's not going to be on the 26th. There's going to be very little institutional action. The 27th, which is the Friday, you know, like who's going to come back to work on the Friday? Not too many people. And then the week after is going to be New Year's. So this is a tough time. There's not much volume, and you're going to see that there might be quite a bit of volatility, but it's not going to be volume driven. All right. So just be careful. Be really careful out there. It's not a great time of the year to trade. Yeah. What kind of reaction can be in that zone? Short? Yeah, definitely short. So if we come up here, you know, you're going to be looking for some sort of reaction like this, right? I mean, that's a big time frame, but you know, it's the sort of reactions we talk about all the time. It's look for a sign of them sort of working the high. It could maybe look like a swing failure pattern if we come above this. We do have Thursday's high here, right? So it could just come up, sweep Thursday's high, and then turn back around. So there's different sorts of reactions we look for. For example, this, so what I was just talking about here, where was that off the single prints? It was this right here. All right, so this was the zone we were looking at that we came into the single prints. No, it wasn't. Hold on a second. This was, there you are. That's it. So we did our live stream. We were about an hour into our Discord live lounge, and price came into that zone, and then we watched all of this sort of happen. I was talking about the 20 EMA. Looking at the 20, and then price breaks above it. We've now put in a low, a high, a higher low, breaks above it. And then this candle here for me was the candle that I said, if it wasn't a Sunday, I'd be taking that every day, because again, it's a shaved top, pretty bullish looking candle. We've just broken the 20 EMA. We've taken out this range high here. So you look for something like this. You look for price to push away, leave a fair value gap, pull back into a fair value gap, maybe a fib level, something like that, right? It's those reactions that you look for so that you avoid getting into trades that, you know, you're just looking at a level. I mean, one thing you have to be aware of with these big levels. All right, so there's more stuff here, but that's big enough, you know. Golden pocket, selling tail, 15-minute order block, range value area high. That's enough stuff in there to lead us to believe that this is going to be a pretty powerful level, right? It's also a support resistance zone, all right? Support, resistance, 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 resistance. All right, there's quite a bit of history here already. So there is a lot going on here. So having that in mind, right? Keeping that in mind, this would be a fantastic place to destroy people, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah, this is a great place to be looking for a rejection. All right, this is also a good place to be looking for a bounce, although there's not as much here, but it is a good place. Something like this, you've got Fibonacci traders, you've got TPO traders, you've got order block traders, you've got volume traders, all looking at this zone. So if price comes into this and you have a bunch of yahoos opening limit orders just for the sake of opening limit orders, it could get real weird for them real quick. So that's why you want to look for some sort of reaction, all right? Whether that be watching order flow as well. You could be watching order flow on Exo charts or on Addis or Sierra. So be careful. Be very careful, all right? And the other thing is it might not get there today or tomorrow, or, you know, we might just range around here for a little bit. Although Bitcoin does get a little bit funky around Christmas, so you might get some volatility. As the institutions are closed, the whales can start to really play around, right? And they can start to push things in a way that they're really not able to anymore. And I mean, just like the Bitcoin nerd sort of whales, right? Not the institutional whales, because the volume's just too great for them to be able to do stuff that they used to. So when you're at 2 trillion market cap, which is pretty much what we're at, I know we went down a little bit. Let me just make sure here. Make sure. Yeah, 1.8 trillion, 1.9 pretty much. Let's just round that up. 1.9 trillion. So that's pretty huge. It's very huge. Tough to move that around so much. So yeah, not that exciting, right? Hate to say it, but not that exciting. In terms of the dreaded pullback that we've had, let's just zoom this out a little bit here. The dreaded pullback, it's still, we're still in this range, right? So there's nothing horrible happening yet, so there's no real reason to get doom and gloomy about it. You can mark out a range, something like this. All right, and we're up in this upward sloping channel. Now, I'm not a huge fan of upward sloping channels when we're at all-time highs, but still, I can't, you know, I can't really deny it. Like, this is what I'd rather see, a downward sloping channel, but we had the same sort of thing here. And then you had that push through and then reverses, right? So this is a classic upward sloping channel. You get the fake out and then price reverses and rips. So we might get something like that. And the reason I'm saying this is because of, you know, everybody seeming to talk about this 30%, pullback here, correction, which would be pretty massive from here, you know, 75-ish, 76-ish. Is that impossible? No, it's not impossible. Is it probable? I don't really think so. I don't see it happening, but it could. Like, it could. We had a really, really great corrective phase here, right? A lot of consolidation. We really got ourselves together. And if you think about it, would we come back and test the top of this range here? Yeah, we might, right? We might, but I mean, it's already done so much. You're bullish on BTC, CME gap at 77K. Mr. Unknown, Yeah, Evan, like, you know, I'm about as bullish as I always have been. So, let's see here. Can you start from the beginning? No, but you can rewind. It's a stream, so you can start from the beginning. Uh, um, so yeah, I wouldn't say, you know, like to say that I'm bullish on Bitcoin. It's, do I think the high is in? No. Do I think that we're good for a decent pullback? Yeah. Do I think it's going to go all the way to 77, 73-ish? You know, I don't know. Like that's a pretty big ways away, right? CME gap at 77K, you know, that CME gaps will go unfilled from time to time, and we'll fill that later after the bull run potentially, right? I'm not saying it has to happen that way. So you know, it's a tough one when you start trying to really think about things. All right, so we've got huge divs here on the daily chart. You know, you can't lie, that is happening. We are under the 50 mark on the RSI for the first time since October the 11th. All right, so we definitely could be pushing down here. So if we look at this now, right, we've got low here, we've got a low here, we've got a low here. This low, I don't really like to look for hidden divs, but here's a low we push off. If you look at that, we've already got some really massive hidden divs happening here, hidden divergences. If we look to pull it off of this low, then yeah, we don't yet, but they're building up. So I don't know, man, it's a bit of a tough one. It's a bit of a tough one. As far as volume goes, there's not much to say. The volume hasn't really kicked in yet, so we haven't really started to get people in. Yes, just like the CME gap at 23 back in October. Yeah. So I mean, they're there to be filled, right? And you know, I have no doubt in my mind we'll revisit 77K and even lower, but the question is when, right? So I'm a big believer in market structure. This is pretty weird structure to read here. All right, we've got a high, a low, a high, then that takes that low. So this candle sort of resets everything, right? And this is a big problem, this candle, I'm not going to lie. But then we've closed above it already. All right, and now we can't come down and take it out. So far, as long as this low is holding, you know, I can't say that I'm not bullish. Am I like one of these Bitcoin to 250K bullish guys? No, I don't, you know, I wouldn't even hazard a guess at where this is going to top out, right? But if you just keep drawing your channels, keep pulling your fibs, keep pulling your extensions, your pockets, all that stuff, you're gonna get into these trades, right? You'll find them. So it's exactly like what we're talking about up here. Instead of being you know, instead of trying to be all magic crystal ball about it, this would be a fantastic place to be looking for a short, right? Now, does that mean it's gonna go to, you know, even take this low? No, right? Not at all. But you might get a few percent out of there, and that's all we look for in trading, right? The candle shares the same pattern back when BTC broke 10K for the first time in history. Yeah. And then what happened? Full-time killer. We'll go take a peek. Let me just get rid of this channel here. And this. Oh, for God's sake. Are you talking about this one? I wouldn't quite say it shares that much resemblance to it. If it's that one. This one would be more like it. You know, if it's this one that you're talking about, Killer, you know, this is, you've got all these days up, all right? We finally do break the 10K mark. And then you get that, let's see, November 29th of November 2017. Oh, I don't have that on here. I'm gonna have to go to Binance, sorry. All right, that one, November 29th, is that what you said? Yeah, 29th of November. Yep, that's definitely more like it. Yep, reset the board, sweep the high, sweep the low, reset everything, get everybody out of their positions except guys who are in down here. Yeah, it's close. It's close. The what I would suggest, the one difference here on this one is that it actually fully reset the board. So it didn't really let anybody tag along. No, you're right actually. Yeah. Yeah, very similar. Very similar. Since it's Christmas holiday now, volume in the markets will be a lot less than what it usually is, right? Correct, sir. So we shouldn't really expect big moves coming from BTC. No, you can get big moves. So just because there's no volume doesn't mean that there isn't volatility. In fact, sometimes it's the exact opposite. With less volume, you can get more volatility, so you can get big moves. You might have slippage issues. You might have all the issues that come with volatility and low volume, right? That's about it. So yeah, it's just not a very, you know, it's not a very safe time. That's really it. That's really it. Yeah, but that is a problem candle for me. But I still do. I still like I still like our odds here. That's pretty fun there that it's already been taken on Coinbase. So we shouldn't really, sorry, just some ranging now. Yeah, no, it can do some big moves, right? But it also wouldn't be surprising if it just gets really boring and just ranges around for a few days. But with Bitcoin, you never know, honestly. Bitcoin is it's a bit of a strange animal. You just take a peek here at that. Like, did you take it? No, you didn't. All right, so it's about the same. Yeah, a little less. So on Coinbase, this wick has been pretty much all taken back. On Bybit, no. Pretty interesting. Yeah, like what you want to see. So One thing, just so we're clear, Evan, because it sounds a bit confusing what I'm saying. I get it, but the best trading environments are high volume and high volatility. All right, so it's kind of like look at the Hawk Tua coin. All right, the Hawk coin. All right, there was not much volume and major volatility, right? Major. So you can get huge volatility off of meme coins that have tiny volume and market cap, right? Because they're highly manipulatable, right? That's the problem with low volume environments, is that they can get really nasty really quickly. So you can find yourself in a whole heap of trouble, right? As long as you're practicing good risk management, using a stop loss, making sure you're protecting your capital, it should be fine. Unless you're opening monster positions and you start experiencing massive. All right, man. Talk soon, Sos. You have a good one, buddy. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, that's about, any meme coin is a good example, Evan. They're all pretty they're pretty risky, right? Except for, something that, some meme coin like Doge, right, is a meme coin, but Doge has a ton of volume in it. So the moves on Doge are pretty safe, all right? They're not like the Hawk coin, right? But yeah, if you see a coin that has very little market cap and very little volume and huge moves, right? And I don't mean like the Hawk coin, it did have some volume for a day, and that's it. We swept previous day's low. We will not sweep it. As we swept previous day's low, we will not sweep it high. All right, so let's just let's not get too carried away, because I would agree with what you're saying 100% there. But what I would also say is be careful when you're applying price action rules to the weekend. All right, so this is our previous day here, is Friday. All right, don't worry about Saturday, Sunday too much. Yeah, we've swept Sunday's low. What I would imagine happens is that we're looking for the Friday close. All right, because usually what happens on the weekend, the market likes to go and take all that back. Did you hear about the meme coin created some hours later after the Hawk Tua girl rug pulled her own coin? I think it was named something like Jailhawk Tua girl, or talk to a judge girl, something like that. It went up quite a lot percent before. That's pretty funny. Don't be sorry, AMZ Buron. No worries, man. No worries at all. Just to make sure. Okay. Yeah. The Hawk Tua girl. I can't believe that she just went to bed. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard, actually, was that that going to bed business. I think she said okie dokie. Hi, Nick. Sorry to interrupt you. Anywho. Is that what she said? Anywho, well, I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys in the morning. And then she just disappeared. I missed that. We don't analyze weekends such way. Yeah, like you can, right? So this is what I would say. Do it, all right? See how it works out for you, because I don't do it, right? So I never incorporate Saturday, Sunday, right? If you're looking at like week high and lows, it's very rare that Saturday and Sunday put in the week high and lows, but if they do, count it, all right? All right, full-time killer, yeah. If it's previous week's high and low and it happens on a weekend, then you want to count it, because then it becomes about liquidity, right? If you're looking at a situation like this, we have our Friday here, Saturday goes up, sweeps the Friday high, and then Sunday comes back in. You see, it's just kind of they're just closing inside the closing week's range, right? So not really a big deal, and they don't put in any new extreme for the week. Now, if there was a new extreme, definitely when you're looking at your weekly charts, all right, like this is going to be your week high and your week low. That's just the way it is. All right, and then we come back to the daily chart. Okay, the high was put in on a Tuesday, the low was put in on a Friday. We go the week before, we're looking at, here's Monday, there's your weekly low, and then here's your weekly high is actually put in on the Sunday. So at that point, you've got to take that into consideration for the weekly high, all right? And then Monday played off of Sunday, right? That's you can't deny that, all right? So I would say take it with a grain of salt what I say. That's the way I trade, right? So I don't really look at the weekends at all. They don't interest me because I don't trade the weekends, right? I really don't care. Now, again, if price, like what happened last week on the Monday, it just took off, right? Where was it? Okay, so here's our Monday open, right? Pumps, dumps, and then it just keeps going. And then our Friday close was all the way down here. So it never really came back until Wednesday. All right, but it definitely claimed all of that weekend business up and moved away. So I hope that's helpful. Might be a little bit confusing, but what a person. Are you still talking about the Hawk Tua girl? Yeah, I really don't think that she, I know a lot of people have said this, but I also don't believe that that girl came up with a rug pull idea for a token like that. I just can't believe she went to bed and then disappeared for a couple of weeks. Didn't even do her podcast, nothing. She must have just been really embarrassed or trying to buy plane tickets out of the country with her newly minted millions. Oh, man. All right, we got 24 people in here. Let's get some likes, guys. Come on. Hit that like button, and I'll do a Boxing Day special stream. No, I can't do a Boxing Day special stream. There's going to be nothing open. So what I will do real quick here is take a peek at the Forex Factory. Let's see what they're saying here about markets. All right, so Tuesday, you've got a German bank holiday. All right, you've got New Zealand, Australia. Everything is closed. On the US, it's not a bank holiday, but they close early. And you're going to notice that there's not much volume going on, all right? Then Wednesday, it's bank holidays all across everywhere. The 26th is also bank holidays everywhere, not in the States, but Boxing Day is also a huge day that people really don't go into work, all right? Now, we do have some news coming out on the 26th at 1:30. The unemployment claims are out. That's at 1:30 GMT time, so you might get a little bit of volatility there. And then stuff opens up business as usual. So now let's just check out the New York Stock Exchange. All right. Come on now. Okay, so Wednesday is the only day that they're officially closed. All right. So just Christmas Day. So on the 24th, they're open, but a lot of the traders will not be around. All right. And all stock markets will close at 1 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Okay. So they're only open till 1 p.m. So New York will be open, and it will only be open for about 4.5 hours, and that's it. The bond markets will close also at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then they're also closed on December 31st at 2 p.m. And they take New Year's Eve day off as well. New Year's Day, sorry, off as well. So really, there's a lot of time off here. Every single Monday for more than a month now, Saylor announces that he was the Coinbase premium bidder and we're correct. Then we recover in full. Today, he also announced. Nice. Good old Saylor. Just want you to keep in mind, Michael Saylor's a convicted felon. He's not the most trustworthy individual in the world, but I don't really want to talk about that. Good old Saylor. All right, so let's see here if we can get this move down into this zone here. Looks like it wants to go. Looks like it wants to. Yeah, the selling has started. Everybody's realized they need some more cash to go buy some turkeys. And I can't believe how expensive turkeys are. Could not believe it. Can you check any alt? Yeah, I can check any alt. Name one. Name an alt. I'll check it. Oh, I don't know about that one, man. They do some serious correcting. We'll leave TRX alone for the moment. Get rid of this. So let's check out my darling ADA, one of my favorite alts to trade. Okay, so let me hide all of this stuff. All right, so if we, if you just zoom out a little bit, 42% correction since December 3rd. So pretty massive. Pretty massive. But ETH and Bitcoin are kind of like the more stable ones. But even having said that, look, 24%. So the correction on Bitcoin has been 15-ish, and the alts are definitely more corrective. Helpful stream as always, man. I need to go wrap some presents and prepare for tomorrow. Happy Christmas, you too, Evan, man. Have a great one. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you after Christmas sometime. Let me just see this here. What have we got? Steve, put in a dot. All right. All right. See here. AMZ, you don't got a specific alt you want to look at? Just any alts? All right, we'll take a peek here at the old ADA then. We'll just ADA it up. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay. So right now we've swept this low here, all right? And price has ripped back into these ranges. And this is a very, very interesting place right here that we're at. But it's, I think GOAT is the new coin. You want to check out GOAT? We'll check out GOAT. We'll check out GOAT in a second. So right now we're at a pretty old, pretty established support zone here. We did come back up, rip through some of them, come back down, held. We're just ping-ponging in here now. So it looks like we need to grab some liquidity. So we're going to come down, sweep this low at least. Might come down, sweep this low, might just dump it, right? But a pretty interesting place right now on ADA. I would say I'd be looking on the 1 minute chart to see what happens down here, looking for reactions and trying to read whether or not we can turn it around. And Newcoin can do whatever they want generally because the token are still mainly held by the seed investors, whales. Yeah, they're pretty dangerous, but let's see if I can even find GOAT. What the hell is GOAT traded on? I think Bybit might have GOAT. I remember seeing something. GOAT USD. There you go. GOAT USDT professional. Perpetual. That's the one. Big tax. All right. Let's check out the GOAT. Oh, I like the price. I like these for the prices, but unfortunately, hard to get decent fills on this stuff. But they're great when you're bored. Remember a couple years ago, that was probably like 2 years ago or so. In the Discord, it was pretty much me, Sos, and OP Trader. Who OP Trader's he gets real busy and then he'll have some downtime. So for those of you in the Discord who haven't seen OP, he hasn't been around in a while, but he'll be back as soon as summer strolls around. He seems to reappear. But we traded Magic like crazy, and it was really hard to get good fills on it. But it was just so volatile with the tiny market cap, and it was pretty easy to read. We traded the hell out of that thing, Magic. So sometimes it's fun to trade these things, and it's pretty good learning experience, especially if you can't get good fills on it. Wow, didn't know you also have a long list of shit coins in your watch list. I thought you mainly focused on BTC and NQ. No, I got a bunch of them, man. I focus on a bunch of them because when you're bored, shit coins are pretty fun. I would have to say they are. Let's just take a peek at this here. All right, so look at that. We're around the all-time lows right now. That's great. That's pretty massive. That's 3x. 71% from the all-time highs. Oh, meme coins. And they're fantastic for scalping. All right, so that's really what we used to do on these. We just scalp the hell out of them. We'd look for high volatility meme coins, and we just trade the crap out of them. I mean, it's not, you just look at it and it doesn't seem that difficult, right? Price comes up, busts back out, works the highs, working the highs. Now you've got your 1, 2, 3. Price can't get up there. You start to break out of the range. You consolidate, just breaking out of the range, break out of it, come back, retest, bearish engulfing. And these are massive scalps in a few minutes, man. Oof. 6 minutes later, you're up 1.3%. So yeah, these are pretty fun to trade, man. And when I was bored, so I used to take pretty big positions on the Nasdaq. I still do once in a while. Now I don't as much. So what I did was everything I traded was in IBKR except for crypto. And then I started a small account on Tradeovate for Nasdaq futures. And so now that's why I scalp that all the time now. So I'll take bigger positions on my IBKR and then I scalp the hell out of my little Tradeovate account, which was incredible this year, I have to say. But so yeah, let's just take a peek at this and see if we can catch some fun here. I'm not going to trade it, but I'll tell you what I would do. All right, so let's get a stock up on here. Actually, before I do that, let's just take a look if it likes the stock. Not bad. And oh. These are all stock RSI. The fours, no, they're all stocks. They're just stock. So these are the quads. They're just simple stocks with different settings on them. So this pretty much represents the 1 minute time frame. This represents the 3 minute time frame. This is the 5, and this is the 15-minute time frame. So you're just looking at a bunch of different time frames in one on the stock. Wait for the stock to get pinned on the bottom. So this is your 15-minute, right? It gets pinned, it's holding, then it starts turning around, it comes back down into the neutral zone. And once that happens, then you're going to be looking up at your other stocks for your confirmations, right? You get a pullback, you get some hidden divs on one, you get hidden divs on the second. That is your entry right there. Take it. Same thing here, stock gets pinned on the bottom. All right, it starts turning back up, comes into the zone. You look here and you've got your stocks way oversold. So you're not, overbought. So you're not looking to long this. You're going to wait for a price to come back down. And then you want to see some sort of uniformity between them, and you want to start seeing some crazy divs here. So no divs, no divs, no divs. Our price starts to move back down here. Now you're still seeing no divs, no divs. So you look for the divs on the top too, and everything else is kind of gold. And then price starts to really turn around on the bottom one. So you just leave it alone. Price then comes down. You once again now have all 4 of them outside of the neutral zone. So all of them are now screaming oversold at the same time. They were here as well, but there were no divs. You only had divs on 1, not on 2. Price comes, both of them start to turn back up. All right, you get your stock coming back in on the bottom. And then you're going to look for your divs. Oops. Jeez, my trackpad's super sensitive. So then you start looking for your divs. So then price comes down. You've got hidden divs. Hop on in there. That's your signal. How you made these templates, which adds different indicators just in one click. Okay, it's pretty simple. So you see all these circles up here, all right? These are all different setups of indicator templates. Okay, so what you do is you put up whatever you want on your chart, and then you're going to come into this tab here, right, and save indicator template. So you enter whatever the name of the indicator template is. Okay, then once it's saved, you come back in here again and you just put a star on it. All right, so see, I shouldn't have done that because I like these in order, but oh well. I'll fix it later. I can't drag you now. So yeah, you just have to know which indicators are what. Like this is for Renko. It'll say it underneath it if you hold it. These are my twos, so my 9 and my 9 EMA, 20 EMA, and a modified RSI. This is my big 3. These are my quads, my internals. Ugh. These are my just a basic stock with 100 and 200 EMA. So you have to kind of know what you're looking for, but that's it. Hey, I am back. Just make my salary with one trade, Yahoo. Nice. Nice, Mr. Unknown. What trade was that? What were you trading? The Bitcoin? Was it the Bitcoin? I don't think it was the Bitcoin. Nobody's making a salary off of that. Nobody is making a full salary off of a Bitcoin trade today, I don't think. But I could be wrong. So yeah, that's it. That's how you get those up there. The quads, BTC, yeah, wow, nice. What the hell trade did you take that just made you? How much leverage are you using? Using TradingView a year and never noticed this button. Yeah, don't worry. There's a lot of stuff in TradingView, man. Oh, my salary's 150 bucks. All right. That ain't bad. 150 bucks. That's fantastic. Yeah, there's a ton to TradingView. There's really a lot of stuff. The other day I just learned about this. You know, I used to, those taught me this. So look at that. I've been using TradingView for like more than 11 years now. And then Zuluon taught me to just, if I want to change intervals, instead of having to come down to pick an interval, time interval, you just click like 1, just hit 1 and it'll come right up to change interval. And then you can put up 1 minute, or you can put up an H and it'll go to 1 hour, or you can put up day, it'll go to 1 day. You can choose 3 hours, right? 3 minutes, 3 hours, whatever you want. So I started doing that, and then Sos was like, you can just star them and favorite them and it'll be right up here. So I just learned that like what, last week or so, something like that. Yeah. So generally what I do, I'll go over this. I mean, there's not much happening today. It's really not going to be that exciting. Let me just check out the NASDAQ real quick. Ooh. Wow. Going for the old Look at that. There she goes. I have one last dump before Christmas. So generally what I tend to do, I don't do it on streams or in the Discord because it'll get a bit weird. Like, things are a bit small, so I don't do it. But generally what I tend to do is either have this setup here. Right, so if you come in here, you can change your grid scheme, right? Or this setup here. But I tend to use more the 4 screen. All right, now I've got a 27-inch screen as my main screen. And then I've got a 21-inch screen as my secondary. And then I've got a tiny screen as well. But I generally just use 2 screens. So this is generally how I have it set up. And I'll have Renko set up on one, Heikin-Ashi set up on the other. I'll have a 1-minute time frame and a 15-minute time frame. And that's generally what I'm looking at, something like this, all right? So it just makes it a little bit easier. Now, if you're trading on a phone, impossible. If you're trading on a laptop, it's impossible. You need a big screen to be able to do this. Well, I shouldn't say that. You know, my eyes don't like it. So on a small screen, I don't like it. And then you can put up whatever you want here, right? You can have certain indicators on one, certain chart types on another, right? Sometimes when I have the 4 open, I'll have TPO charts on one as well. So especially if I'm looking at the NASDAQ. Just curious, do you only trade on a daily basis? Do you generally leave your trade open by end of the day? It depends what I'm trading. So if I'm trading crypto, I never fully close out a crypto trade. I'll get stopped out. I'll never close it out. If I'm trading NASDAQ futures, if I'm like hundreds and hundreds of points in profit, I will leave it open overnight, which is only 1 hour, right? And I'll manage it when the market reopens, right? So it closes at 9:59 and then reopens at 11. So I'll watch it. I never leave a futures trade open over the weekend because you never know what happens over the weekend. And if you know, when you're trading a market that has an actual close and something strange happens in that time that it's closed and price really moves against you heavily, you could be in serious problems. All right. Even if you have a stop loss, if it opens below your stop loss, let's say you're in a long, if you're holding a buy position and price opens below your stop loss will not be triggered and you'll be potentially in serious trouble. But as far as crypto goes, I generally take 3 take profits and then I let the rest run, right? How do you use Renko? It depends what you're trading. We can do a quick Renko here. Do a quick Renko. So I'll show you how I use it on Bitcoin. Renko is one of my favorite ways to scalp Bitcoin. So let's this business. Sorry, what is take 3 profit? Is TP1 to TP3 that you shared before? Yeah, so if I we'll yep. So let's say okay, and that's what I'm saying, that I'm talking more about day trades. So let's think about it in a swing trade scenario, all right? So when we were down here, there was a couple of signals that things were starting to turn around, right? We put in a potential W, we broke the apex of it. I started building my trade right there. and I'm still in this trade. So I haven't closed it. So been in it for a year. Sorry, almost 2 years. So as price moves away from this, I'm looking at this high for my take profit one. And this is me building up a position, right? So it wasn't a huge position, but what I'm thinking of is the end in, and can I start building up my long position to ride this bad boy to all-time highs? Which I'm going to constantly be doing the same thing now with the shorts, right? But I'm looking to short in USDT, and here I was starting to put all of my BTC into trades here. All right, so we start to build, well, I started to build my trade here in this zone, and my first take profit target was that. All right, and that's because I'm building a swing trade. All right, so price comes up, hit my first take profit, and then it does a little bit of consolidation, and then it breaks that consolidation. So I add to the position there. And now I'm looking at this high for my first take profit out of the consolidated position, which would be my second take profit, right? Take profit 2. Price then comes up, hits it, and then comes back down, hits a 0.5 fib level in a fair value gap, on a daily fair value gap. There was a lot more reasons to get in on a trade here. So I add again to the position. And now I'm going to be targeting this high up here for my next take profit. So when you're doing it on swing trades, you got to be real slow with your taking profit, because if you take it too fast, you're not going to be able to build up your position properly as price is moving away. All right, because let's say I take profit 1 here, take profit 2 here, and then price comes back. I'm not going to be able to put in too much of a position, or else my initial entry is going to be very close to this entry, right? So you got to be pretty careful with it. And this pullback here actually almost got me to exit the trade, but luckily I didn't. So there's that sort of situation, right? And then now, for example, the that long that I took on this long that I took on Friday. All right, this wasn't a Bitcoin long, it was a USDT long, right? I tried on Bitcoin, but I wasn't looking to add to my position quite yet because I'm not overly confident about it. The level of funding fee you're paying, well, when I started, it was negative. So when I started building the position, I enjoyed quite a bit of time of negative funding. And then, yeah, now it's gone positive, but it's got pretty, I mean, it's a 10x leverage trade. It is seriously in profit. Funding's not that big of a deal when you're holding a position for this long. But yeah, Bybit has made quite a bit of money off me, that's for sure. But not, it doesn't make it unworth it. Okay. So for, example again, on this trade here, I wasn't looking to build up a position. I was just looking to grab some quick profit, right? It was more of a scalp / day trade. So when it hit that level we were looking at in the Discord, I called out, I believe it was one, I can't remember what it was now, but I think it was 295, something like that. So it hit, it retested on the next 1 minute candle, got in, price started to move up. I took profit out at 0.5%, and then it was all about the 1 minute chart, because that's how I entered the trade, right? So all right, so took it, price got up here, I took my second take profit, and then price got up here. I took my third take profit, and then I just let the rest run. So what'll happen with that trade now is if we get a very decent pullback, which we have now, and I don't get stopped out, pardon me, and price starts to give me a good reason to look for a scalp long, I'll just add to that position, and my stop loss will be far enough away that I can have a relatively free trade, minus the profits that I've given up so far on it from this pullback, with a fully loaded scalp size position again, right? Okay, now let's get on to the Renko then. So for Bitcoin, everything's got its own little tiny flavor, all right? But so you come down here to your Renko candles, open up your Renkos. That's not what it is. That's not what I want. That's funny. I moved them on that one. Okay, so what I like on the Renko is the 10 EMA. That's my favorite. And then I also put on a 50 EMA just to sort of mess around here. Now, if you're just starting out using Renko, I'd also recommend, this is the Awesome Oscillator. That's what I use for scalping on Renko. If you're not really used to it, I highly recommend you put up an RSI as well. And so when RSI starts chopping around like this, you're just not really going to pay too much attention to it. If it's chopping around the 50 line, all right? Chopping in the middle, be careful with it. Chopping in the middle, don't pay attention to it. All right, this sort of stuff, you just don't trade this, all right? It'll keep you quite a bit safer if you're not used to Renko, all right? Now, of course, you also want to have your levels positioned up, right? So if you're looking for 0.5s, golden pockets, order blocks, and that stuff, chart them on your normal chart and then put your Renko on them. And the Renko moves a little bit funny, all right? So you see here right now, I'm going to close this out so we can see more. You see here, you've got this red candle that's sort of building. You see it just disappeared now. So these are bricks. They're not candles. They're called bricks or blocks, but most people, you'll hear them refer to them as bricks. All right, so whatever settings you have your Renko chart on, that's how much movement has to happen in a 1 minute interval. And then price will have to close that 1 minute interval as far away as your settings dictate, all right? So in this case, if you just click here on Renko Traditional, you'll see here that your box size is 110. Okay, you can also use ATR, which is now telling you that it's 25 length. All right, so your average true range right now, the average length is $25. So typical use here, all right, when you're using this, you're gonna take the ATR and you're gonna divide it by 2. So that would be the box size that you're gonna look for on a sort of traditional way of looking at Renko, okay? So the ATR was 25, you divide it by half, that's 12.5. So there you go. All right, and now you can see how this is moving really fast here. So it's a little bit crazy on Bitcoin. I don't really do this on Bitcoin. We'll talk about what I do in a second, but so you see how this hasn't closed out yet because the 1 minute interval is going to close in 9 seconds, right? So right now we're just waiting for that candle to close, and then these will all turn solid red. All right, we'll just wait for it to clear. There you go. So now it's solid red, and now it's just, whoa, and look at that. That Awesome Oscillator is showing you what's up. Looks like price is ready to dump a little bit, but you're holding right now on these previous lows. So Renko lows are not to be trifled with, and Renko highs are also not to be trifled with. All right, be careful with them. This stuff will start to make you get a little bit antsy, so you can change the colors on these. If it starts to make you emotional, don't let it. All right, so that's basically the gist of it. All right, it's each brick is a dollar amount, and however many dollars, so this is 12.5 bucks each brick, right now, 12.5. And in a 1 minute interval, however far that moves, you know, so if it moves 25 bucks, it's going to print 2 of these, right? Hope that makes sense. Let me just make sure nobody's asking any question here. Thanks for sharing. Real appreciate your sharing about TP strategy, also position building strategy. Yeah, no worries, full-time killer, anytime, man. And also, hold on a second before we continue on Renko. One other thing, full-time killer. Remember, I've taken profit out of these trades and then added to them again, right? So the funding, you know, the funding doesn't really matter. It's not like I've had the same exact trade open for 2 years. I've taken plenty of profit out of it. Okay, so this is what I like to do. Right, generally it's going to be about $110 depending on how volatile it is. So this is what I'm going to look for here. All right, I want to count 3 blocks, and I want those 3 blocks to be 0.05%. Okay, so that obviously ain't working. Let's give 160 a shot. Look at that, 0.5%. So 3 bricks, 0.51%. So that's perfect. If you want to be a real nerd, you can go down to like 157, 156 and see if you can get 0.5 exactly. But I am not that nerd. Okay, so let's pop up our RSI real quick so that we can stay safe. And I'm just gonna blot out this 50 EMA for now, all right? So again, you're always gonna be looking to trade with the trend. The trend is your friend until the bend in the end, and then it screws you over, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So what we want to see are some sort of divs are always helpful, right? But you don't have to see divs, right? It doesn't matter. Let's just say we're down here and we're trading with the trend. So price has put in some highs. It starts to put in some lower lows here and now comes up, all right? So we want to make sure we're not getting in on these little bunched up signals around the midline, all right? No good there. All right, price comes up then, comes back into the 50, comes back up, and now it breaks below nicely, and it comes back up and retests the 10 EMA. All right, it does a little bit of jostling here, and what I want to see is the first candle that closes fully below this EMA. I'm going to be interested in taking a trade there. All right, now I wouldn't take this one because we've put in a little consolidation here. So now I want to see it break this consolidation. We're below the 20. This is your first candle right here that fully forms below the 20 and fully closes and breaks this consolidation. Right there. So that is your entry signal. And then you're going to take it 3 blocks down. And at that point, it's only 4.6%, but the ATR, the blocks, I mean, your percentages are going to change a little bit, right? Depending on what the actual candles are doing. And that would be take profit 1. hit that take profit one and put your stop loss up to break even right away. Doesn't matter if you get taken out because it's a scalp, right? So you're just going to be looking for these over and over again, all right? The other thing is on the oscillator, you have to have red on your awesome oscillator and red on your candles, all right? So price comes on down. You get a candle close above the 20. All right. And then you get a candle fully form above the 20. But we're not really looking to long this because why? The trend is our friend and we're looking for shorts, all right? Price breaks back down. Here's your first candle that closes below, and this is your first candle that fully forms below. So you hop on in there. Okay, your stop loss has to be above this candle here, which is a 2017 candle. I'm just going to put this out on normal. Well, I'm not going to because we're going to lose ourselves. But you need to be able to see the candles at the same time, all right? Hey, come on now. Where are we? Wednesday at 2017. You guys are killing me right now. Killing me. Okay, I can't do this right now. Can't do it right now. I'm gonna have to spend 5 minutes setting this up. I'm not gonna be able to do that. So forget it for now. Anyways, stop loss above the previous candle. All right. In this case, you got a wick on this candle, so you got to put your stop loss above this candle, whatever it may be. And then you're looking to trade your 3 blocks down, right? So you enter here, you only get 2 blocks on that. You get a pullback. There's your 3rd block. You take your profit. Take profit 1. All right. Now on here, we have a problem, which is this candle forms below, but your awesome oscillator is green. So you can't take that trade. This one, you can't take any of these because your awesome oscillator is also green. And then here you start getting this weird movement in the EMA and the chop, and the RSI isn't going to save you on this, but you could pull off some scalps here if the signal hits. So there's one. Get your 3 blocks down, you take your profit. Okay, and by this time you start to see that you're just chopping around here around the 50, and it's obvious that you're just ranging, and then price finally breaks down. Weird chop, and you really can't take this trade either. Then price comes down, rips, and starts breaking back above, and now you start putting in bullish market structure, and these are golden opportunities here, these little pullbacks. So you get a 2 brick pullback, once price breaks the high brick, so it's not this wick you're looking at, it's this high brick. Once it closes above it, you're in there and you take your 5%, 0.5% is your take profit one, and then let it rip. Right, so that's how I use it on the Renko. It's pretty simple. The other thing that I do on the Renko is, this is obviously the 1 minute time frame. So if I'm entering a long trade or a short trade, doesn't really matter. That's when I use the ATR. There's no way your ATR is 25 on a 5 minute candle. Something's wrong with this. Huh, there's definitely something wrong with that. We can also trade usual chart with EMA 10, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the 10 EMA or the 9 EMA, they're pretty much the same thing. They're very, very frequently used EMAs. You have the 5, the 9, the 10, the 13, the 20, you know, 21 and 20 are the same. They really look exactly the same. There's no real difference. You can use them, but it's strange that the ATR is not really working on this for Bitcoin. So get an ATR indicator that'll tell you what the ATR range is. So let's say I open up a swing trade or a day trade, doesn't matter what it is, but it's kind of what's relevant is the time. All right, so here's that crazy consolidation. And then we break that crazy consolidation that we had at 73K, right? And I'm just monitoring this to see this move up, all right? So I'm not going to use it for entries in this case. I'm going to use other things for entries. But I have no problem adding to this, all right? Price comes up into the 10, pushes away, breaks the consolidation. So there's your add right there. Comes back in, does the same thing. There's your add signal. Comes back down, same thing. Comes back down, same thing. So it's just giving you all these nice add signals along the way, all right? Now for that, you also want to be very aware of the 50 EMA because a lot of times it will pull right in. It'll break the 10 and start testing the 50, right? And that'll also help you in these choppy situations, the 50 EMA. But at first, I would recommend just kind of look at the 10 and just play around with this, get used to it. It's definitely a different type of beast to be playing with, all right? And that's it. Good old Renko. I love Renko charts. On the NASDAQ, I am looking at them all the time. So I generally have, like I was saying, my four view is on, right? I've got 4 charts open. I've got 2 normal charts, although I sometimes go to PPO on one of them. And then on my other chart, I've got Renko. And then on my other chart, I've got Heiken Ashi. Bitcoin, 1 minute time frame. Very interesting to watch right now. All right, let's get back to normal candles then. See if we're hitting our zone. I mean, it's getting pretty close. Getting pretty close. And now it's starting around. So what has it done? Well, that's not bad, actually. So we've now taken out the Asia low. Your favorite shaved top candle. There she is. Cute little shaved top. Two of them? I only see one. That has a wick. So does that. But that's definitely one. Well, on Bybit anyways. Not sure what chart you're looking at, but on Bybit you only got one of them. One shaved top. Be interesting to see if this fair value gap candle holds now. But I'd still like to see lower. I don't think I'd be trading this. Although we have swept this, so there's your Asia lows. New York has now swept the Asia low. Hasn't swept any previous day's levels, but it's definitely swept the Asia low. So stop hunt is complete. Yeah, let's just check out this volume. Oh. Oh. That is rough. So that's the only decent looking bullish volume come out, and it got a big pushback on it. So yeah, not looking great. Not looking great. But all right, I am going to call this a day, gentlemen. Gotta go get some stuff done so I can get ready to go out to a Christmas dinner / party. Again, times for this week, you know, gonna be heavily reduced. Tomorrow, nothing happening. Friday, I will not be here. 26th, I will do a live in the Discord because there's going to be nothing happening in the market. So forget that. Maybe I've missed it in the course or haven't got there yet. But what was shaved top and bottom signaling again? Haven't talked about. I don't think that's in the course. But when you're looking at candles, all right, it's just a price action thing. So you see how this candle here doesn't have a wick on the top of it. So for a bullish candle, it's very good to see a shaved top. All right, but I'm really only looking for these when we hit levels, right? If it's in the middle of nowhere, I don't really care about these candles, but when we hit a level, that's my favorite sort of candle to look for, right? So shaved top on a bullish candle and a shaved bottom on a bearish candle. All right, so just no shadow or wick. Right, shave top, shave bottom. Time to get your coffee and pick orange. No, man, I already picked oranges. I got all the oranges and clementines and tangerines I need for a while. I'm gonna go have a coffee, yeah, and then gotta start prepping up some food. And that's about it. It's work time before the festivities now. So that's going to do it, guys. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I'll sap a message out on the Discord tomorrow. But that's it. We'll see you on Boxing Day on the 26th, but just in the Discord. And then on the 27th, we'll get back on the old YouTube side of things, all right? Merry Christmas, all. See you soon. Take care.